Well, as you can see, progress continues on robo-war. I've got quite a bit done the last couple days. It's really starting to look like something. So after the clear coat had cured, it was no longer off-gassing. I could not smell the solvents or anything on the playfield. I started to reassemble the bottom side, and then I removed the strobe panel here. I cleaned all the reflectors, brand new bulbs, and the panel that was in there I have over here. And here is the old panel. As you see, it was yellow and it was quite scratched and kind of a mess. So I made a brand new one out of a piece of acrylic that I had, and I think it looks really great. All the metal parts on the playfield have either been run through my tumbler and polished or polished by hand. This is a brand new spinner that I got from a supplier up in Canada, and brand new plastic posts, brand new rubbers, of course, new targets, new stickers on the drop targets. I did not replace the drop targets, but they all looked pretty decent. And I have not put any LEDs in the game yet, nor have I replaced the plastics. The plastics are a bit faded. You can see the color differences here. So I think what I'll do is, once I get the machine finished, then I'm either going to buy the set. Once I save up some money, I'll probably get LEDs for the machine. And then there is a supplier that makes an aftermarket replacement plastic set. I think it's around $150. I do have plenty of water slide decal material left over, so I might practice and see if I can actually make a few pieces myself. And if that works, then I might try to make them. But either way, I'll eventually replace those. But yeah, working through piece by piece, getting the playfield put back together, and so far so good. As you can see, I have the brand new translight I got from Mayfair Amusements. Sells the translight. So the other one was quite a bit faded, and I had completely disassembled the speaker panel here with the display. There's a piece of green like acetate here, and this is all just a piece of plexiglass with the art silk screened on the back side. So everything was cleaned, a little bit of repair job to the hinge and the wooden strip at the top here, and then repainted everything, and brand new yellow T-molding I had left over from an arcade project. So that's where we're at so far, and yeah, it's coming along. Brand new parts here in the shooter lane, as I talked about. So yeah, that's where we're at so far. So after the playfield had cured, what I have sitting on top here is the playfield protector, and the playfield protector gives us a perfectly smooth surface for the ball to roll on, and will basically last forever. So there's no lumps, no bumps. It's going to be really great. So that's where we're at. I was really excited about moving this thing into my house, and I only had one more little maintenance action to take care of, and that was to replace my two-bank coil. The two-bank coil that was in the machine looked like this, and it was a dead short, right, burned up. So I ordered a new one, and yeah, I got the new one in, and I soldered the new one right there. Two-bank target. Put the new coil in, and I followed along with the last person who worked on this machine. And that was my dumb mistake, because that cost me about 6 hours of troubleshooting. Because, well, let me keep this up and show you. What was happening was, when the game would start and it would try to fire that coil, it blew the 2-amp fuse over here at F14. Yeah, and it also blew up the transistor. And I ordered some new transistors, and they came in today. And I thought, oh, I'll just swap out the transistor and life is good. So what do you think happened? I did that and the transistor blew up again, and also took out the F14 2-amp fuse. So, well, a couple of hours of following every wire everywhere down to the resistor boards down here, from the driver board itself, checked everything, the pre-driver transistor, everything I could figure out. And the only thing I had not, and you know, this is a brand new coil that I replaced, so I ohmed that out. It was 7.9 ohms. The manual itself was wrong, by the way. It had the wrong coil in there. But anyway, what it ended up being was my dumb mistake. I followed along with the last guy who did the maintenance, and I had the wires crisscrossed here. I had, you know, you see a diode right there and soldered to that coil, and I had the wires backwards. Following along with the last gentleman. So I swapped the coil wires and everything works perfectly now. This is our 2-bank target here. Yeah, you see it just tried to fire. So here's alpha 3, here's alpha 2, and there's alpha 1. Just like that. So, but anyway, what you're looking at is the game is almost ready to go inside. The only other issue I really have to work out is the sound issue. And it might be a ROM problem. It could be a RAM issue. I ordered a new RAM chip. This D section of the soundboard controls the sound effects. And it seems that everything works fine if I remove this ROM. So, but I checked the ROM. I verified it with my ROM burner, and the ROM is fine. I actually rewrote the code, so it looks like the ROM itself is good. So I'm probably going to change that RAM chip. Not sure if that's going to help. Perhaps it could also be my volume knob down here, but it's really strange that the only scratchy sounds I have are with the D side and not the Y side. So I'm not sure that the potentiometer for the volume would really fix anything there. But anyway, that's another problem for another day, and I'm super happy that the coils are finally fixed, and I'm not blowing transistors anymore. It was this transistor right here that was blown on the board. This is a pre-driver transistor that drives this, and the way I finally figured out that this was all okay, I mean, I ohmed everything out and it seemed fine. I finally pulled the wire off out of the connector, reconnected the connector, and I had the wire sitting here. And then I grounded the wire with the game on, and that should have momentarily energized the coil. But when I did that, it blew the fuse. So I knew there was a quote-unquote short or something somewhere. And I had checked all the wiring. So the only thing really left was that diode was backwards. Actually, the diode was fine. It was my wiring that was backwards. So lesson learned to me, always, yeah, look back at your wiring diagram, because the wiring diagram here, I'll say, you know, I'm really impressed with the Gottliebs. It's right here. The 2-bank reset target. You can see it shows it's supposed to be a 19300 coil, right? And a 19300 coil, way back here in the beginning. A 19300 should be right here. It should be 7.8 ohms, which it was. But how I finally found the problem was with the wiring diagram. It showed the upstream side, the non-banded side of the diode, should have had a 288 wire. The 288 wire is a red, gray, and wouldn't you know it was the other way around. So, and I verified that with the 3-bank, that the 3-bank had a 588, which is a green, gray to the non-banded side, and that was good. So, yep, good to go. So, yeah, maybe the next portion of this video is going to be moving it into the house. Well, as you see, the robo-war is here in the lineup, and I figured I'd show some close-ups of the playfield and just kind of comment on how I thought the process went. maybe if somebody else is going to do the same thing. So, you know, the robo-wars were primarily exported. Gottlieb was exporting a lot of their games around this time, '88. So there's not a whole lot of these left in the US from what I can see. People on Pinside are saying the same, that there was around 2,100 produced. A lot of them went overseas, and you know, they were known for playing pretty quick and for the playfields not lasting. So a lot of them had blown out playfields up near the pop bumpers like mine did. Even the best examples have worn areas down here. So, you know, this is how she looks now. Original plastics. I have not done anything to the plastics other than I flame polished them a little bit and tried to clean them up. There is a replacement set of plastics you can get, but it's around 175 bucks and just not in the budget right yet. I still need my pop bumper caps. I'm still looking for those. But overall, you know, in the beginning I talked about the fact that this graphic was printed with a big inkjet printer, and yeah, from the distance of playing the game, you really can't tell. You don't see any print lines at all. It really looks great. One thing I have noticed almost off the bat is after I brought it in house, you can see some discoloration here, and right here, and look at this. And I think that this is moisture in between the playfield protector and the playfield itself. You know, if you look down, see right here, see it? I think that this is what it is. I'm not sure if I can do anything about that. I mean, if I pull the playfield protector up, this goes away. So I'm not really worried about it, but putting a playfield protector over top of a clear-coated playfield, I guess will result in, yeah, in such a thing. I have kind of a similar condition on my high speed over there. In any case, this is the outcome. I think it looks pretty dang good considering what we started with. You can see in these pictures the condition of the playfield when I first got the game. There was a ball in it that was completely covered in rust, and it just totally destroyed the playfield. So, but you can pretty much always sand that off and start over if you have a playfield graphic to overlay, that is. And there are no reproductions made for robo-war, so this is what I applied, and this is after the clear coat was down and then reassembling, and really happy with the way it came out and the addition to the lineup. Thanks for watching.